Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Xbox Casuals, the Xbox podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deerigan. Alongside me, as always, is my world premiere, Josh Finney.
There's so much to talk about tonight.
It
was packed.
It is. There are a lot of games to talk about, Josh. That's something.
Let me ask you a question to start this off, Corey.
Okay.
Just to jump into the nitty-gritty of it, were you shocked at how much first-party material was here?
No.
Were you as surprised by that as I was?
I don't think so, honestly.
I was shocked.
I mean, there wasn't.
Frankly, I think we got at least 3 or 4 more games than I was expecting to on the first-party side.
I think I was more shocked at some of the third-party stuff, to be honest.
The lack of it?
No, like the games that were there.
I was shocked that they had next to no big third-party games outside of Dragon Age and arguably Stalker.
And the Metal Gear remake, too.
Well, I kind of forgot about that already, I'm going to be honest.
I mean, I forgot about all the third-party games, to be honest. I don't care about any of them.
Yikes. Hard disagree, but I understand.
I'm not gonna lie, Josh. This was just like an okay thing for me. I'm very disappointed by the Gears announcement.
This is, by my money, this is the best showcase Xbox has done in at least a decade. And it's not even close.
Oh my gosh, dude. I was like falling asleep during it.
Oh, dude, I was fucking out of my seat half the time. I was so excited.
I don't know if I care about half of the games that were shown today.
I saw maybe 3 games that I will not play on this entire show. And
I mean,
one of them is Metal Gear.
That's fair. I won't play Metal Gear either. I don't care about Metal Gear at all. But you also have a more we'll say a lot of these games lean towards your taste in games than mine.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. I did not expect to see Perfect Dark here at all today. And that went from being something that I was worried was going to get very quietly canceled within a few months to, holy shit, when this comes out, this may be a frontrunner for Game of the Year when it releases. Like, I was that impressed. This isn't what we were told it was going to be. It has evolved. Like, this is immersive sim vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I got Dishonored vibes the entire time I was watching this.
I got Dishonored mixed with Alpha Protocol.
I got a little bit of Mirror's Edge thrown in there too in terms of the movement.
Yeah.
I could not have been more happy with how this looks. It's taken way too long to come out in like 4 reboots, but it looks fucking great.
It looks really good.
And Matt Booty said last year we wouldn't see this. I'm not to turn this into a Perfect Dark segment, but he said we wouldn't see it until it was close to release. So I'm wondering if this is the big fall 2025 game for them. Yeah. This and Gears.
See, I think Gears is a launch game for the next system in 2026.
I think Gears is so close to coming out right now.
I think they would have shown more if it was close to coming out.
No, I mean like as in close. I mean within the next 18 months.
Oh man,
I think this is a fall game next year.
I can't talk about Gears right now. We gotta wait to talk about Gears because
I'm so excited to talk about Gears. And I have completely different opinions on this one.
I'm so fucking disappointed in
I'm so excited.
Dude, they already did this 3 fucking times.
What'd they do?
They've made 3 prequels already.
They've never shown E-Day.
The DLC for 3 is all about E-Day.
With Dom and Marcus.
No, but it's
okay. We're getting Dom and Marcus. People bitched and moaned that they wanted Dom and Marcus back, and here we are. We're getting Marcus and Dom, and people are upset again. Like, what does everybody want?
No, but I don't. I think I'm the only one that's upset. I'm going to be honest with you.
No, I've seen multiple people being like, I guess we're just abandoning the story from 5. No, listen, I need this prequel because I need to know how a human decided to fuck one of these creatures. Okay. Like, I need this backstory. This is instrumental to my enjoyment as a fan at this point. And, like, listen, I wasn't expecting this. I fully expected him to come out and be like, Year 6. I was like, when I was watching, I was like, oh, hey, cool. This is, like, a new character. And then you hear the Mad World beat, and you're like, oh my God. Like, is that? And then he puts on the bandana, and you're like, I'm in. I'm here. I'm in, baby. I'm in.
see. I knew it was Marcus from the beginning because that scene is the entire opening scene from Gears 3, and they've shown that scene multiple
I
times.
haven't played Gears 3 like since it came out.
I'm just telling you that that's exactly what that was, and there's like a whole like couple chapters of an act dedicated to that scene.
Can I tell you how
Um,
incredibly happy I am that this did not lead into an announcement for the Marcus Phoenix collection?
I see. I'm disappointed in that
I'm
too.
ecstatic. I'm ecstatic. I Nope.
Uh,
They are upresed and frame rate improved. Play them that way.
man, I just at this point I want them to make a Unreal 5 ground up remake of all of them. At this point, just
Oh God.
I
Nope. Free the coalition. Free the coalition.
uh,
Free them.
mm,
Free them. But before we sit here and argue about Gears for a half an hour, there were 30 other games shown here.
mm-hmm.
Not an exaggeration.
No, there were a lot of games.
Um,
It was what like an hour and 15 minutes was,
it
and then
was their shortest showcase since 2020.
yeah, because when it was over, I'm like, that's it. That's
I found myself saying the same thing. I thought that there was going to be a little bit more, and then once Sarah was on screen, you were like, oh, you knew this was the end because she's going to talk hardware. And it was like, oh damn, I really hope they don't close on a fucking console again.
and they didn't.
And it was the E-Day trailer, so I'm like, okay, cool.
It was
Um,
that hardware stuff was a Xbox Wire post.
oh my god, it's so ridiculous.
I'm like,
I
come on, you.
it is what it is at this point, but I get it. This is when most people are watching it. You want to start from the top?
Yeah, so it kicked off with Call of Duty Black Ops 6. And you gotta love those numbers once they
I'm
get
not
past
gonna lie,
two.
I'm actually very excited for this.
I mean, out of all of the Call of Duty sub series, Black Ops is probably my favorite.
Black Ops is the most endearing, I think, to most people.
Hmm.
Like a lot of us were young when Black Ops 1 and 2 were out, and so
Yeah.
that is a big thing. I mean, I was in college when 2 came out,
Hmm.
so that was a pretty big game. Obviously, it was like you had Black Ops and Modern Warfare every other year there for a few years.
Hmm. Then we
Um,
got Ghosts.
then you had Ghosts, and Infinity Ward has made like one good game in the last decade now. So, um, I found myself with this. Like, I mean, it's just a campaign trailer to open up, right? Like, they had a
Mhm.
whole direct afterwards.
Yeah,
Um,
but it seems like this is like a direct sequel to 2, which I think is what
yes,
everybody wanted right from the beginning.
yeah,
Once,
it feels like it's kind of ignoring three. I mean, obviously, three takes place in the future, and it's kind of ignoring Cold War in a lot of ways.
hmm
I don't know. I haven't like truly played Cold War, so don't take
I
my
haven't
word for it.
I haven't played Cold War. I think I played 3 and I played what was the 4 was the multiplayer only one, right? Because
Yes,
that had the blackout mode in it, which was really
yes.
fun at the time. Uh, so
I'm
I guess
pretty stoked for this. When they did the direct afterwards, I'm just gonna get the Call of Duty soliloquy out of the way now.
yeah.
Um, it sounds pretty cool. I'm always a fan of the Call of Duty campaigns. This actually looks really well done. Like we actually took a step forward graphically here,
Well, that's
as
what
opposed to
happens
where
when you
we've
have
been the
4
last
years
few
to work
years.
on it instead of 2.5.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens when you give them a full development cycle of 4 years. It looks really cool. The zombie story is supposed to continue from where they left off last.
There's a
Um,
story in zombies.
there is, in
Did
fact, a
I miss
story in
something?
zombies that gets more and more ridiculous. The zombies lore is wild in these games.
Man, I totally missed that there was zombies storylines. That's how long I've been
Um,
out of Call of Duty.
it's interesting. It's going to launch with 16 maps, which I feel like is really really good for a multiplayer title these days.
Yeah, it seems like a lot.
The classic prestige system is back, which is huge for the comp community. I know they're all very happy about this right now. The thing I'm most excited about is the movement tech, though. They kind of geeked out about it in that direct. And when you first hear them describe it, you're like, oh, okay. And then you see it in action, you're like, oh shit. Um, any directional movement in terms of your sliding, your diving, etc. That's really cool. And Tom Henderson from Inside Gaming actually reported today that that is the first of multiple years of movement tech they want to add to the game.
Huh.
That next year in 2025's release, they supposedly will add a combat roll and rolling into cover to the series
Hmm.
for both single player and multiplayer. And I know that like we sit here and we're like, well, I mean, Gears has been doing that for 20 years.
Yeah.
for a series that's played by 30 million people annually, and I mean, like Phil talked about today and said 100 million users a month
Hmm.
across all Call of Duty franchise titles. That's insane, by the way. That's absolutely absurd.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That
that I
to
mean that
condition them how to play a new style is gonna be kind of wild. Like that's actually a huge shakeup for a sandbox to add something like combat rolling.
yeah, that's that includes mobile and Warzone though too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's I mean, still a lot of 100 million players is a lot of players. Not sugarcoating it. I just didn't know if that included mobile or not because I know Call of Duty Mobile's really popular.
Yeah, that's the whole franchise. So that includes like Warzone and
Hmm.
Modern Warfare 3, Warfare 2, things like that. So
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. For
Yeah,
them to be like, yeah, we're gonna shake the game up.
yeah. As someone who liked the Black Ops series, and this is a continuation of the ones that I truly liked. And it's coming to Game Pass day one. The big kind of confirmation, right? I mean, they had already kind of confirmed it, but this was the big confirmation that it's coming to Game Pass day one. So
Yeah,
that's
after all the hemming and hawing that there's been
mhm,
about this and about the reports around it, they finally decided that it was beneficial enough to at least for this year have it on Game Pass. I
mhm,
do think that next year they're going to jack the price up if you want Call of Duty, or they just continue to include it and jack the price up anyways. But I
yeah,
think that's the only way they'll be able to justify this to shareholders and
yeah,
to Satya Nadella is to say, "Hey, we'll do a price increase,"
yeah. I think
which is unfortunate.
I think the price increase is coming anyway, and I think they're
I,
gonna.
it,
I think
it
they're
was
gonna.
going to happen once they announced a $68 billion purchase. It was going to happen.
They're I bet they restructure Game Pass entirely too. Like there's
They're
going
going
to
to
be
have to.
like more than 3 tiers the next time out, right? Like they're going to have to do some really
I think you'll still get three
interesting things.
tiers. I think it's going to be core, ultimate, and premium. And I think that core will be your actual Microsoft titles.
Mhm.
Ultimate, I think, gets you Bethesda and PC included, and then premium is where you're going to get your Blizzard and Activision titles.
Yeah. I wonder if that EA.
It would be really confusing to do it that way, but they're going to kind of have to structure it that way. So that way, it's like, oh, if you don't care about Call of Duty, don't worry, you don't need to pay for it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that would be my take. Or they just wait like 6 months to add Call of Duty to Game Pass going forward. Something I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I think outside of Xbox Game Studios at this point, every game is on the table if it's day and date
yeah,
outside of Xbox Game Studios at this point. Um,
I would agree. And I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing.
no, I don't think so either.
If you're already in this ecosystem, like you're in it, and I know, like there at some point the bridge is going to be burned
Hmm.
with day and date Game Pass, but not until they see those returns completely diminish.
Hmm.
This is probably going to inject new life into it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, and now that's a bunch of people who never would have played the franchise who are going to have who don't play it that now have it as part of their sub.
Hmm.
So, oh, maybe they'll check it out. And like Microsoft has to be thinking, well, if they buy at least one battle pass or a skin, then it was totally worth it.
Hmm.
You know, if we can get 15% of these people who have never touched a Call of Duty or haven't touched one in recent memory to just buy a battle pass or buy a skin because they're liking what we're doing or they like the collaborations, then boom, we're in a good place. You got to be thinking that that's where their mind is.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, for better or worse.
Yeah. So couldn't pick a better name than Six though, huh?
Um, I actually think the subtitles get really confusing personally. So
Yeah, it
I'm
does.
kind of happy to see this.
Yeah, I guess you already have the sub brands of Call of Duty at this point. So
Yeah, I think that's like kind of enough. If it's a known entity, I think that's enough,
yeah,
but I'm not sure.
yeah. Speaking of known entities, Josh, Doom: The Dark Ages revealed. Looks pretty cool. Boomerang, spiky shield. How do you feel about
Yeah,
Doom?
I thought that was pretty cool. I'm not the biggest Doom fan. I
Yeah.
really like classic Doom,
Mm.
but I don't think it looked bad at all. It's just Man, seeing Doom Warrior look like that is gonna. This is just continues to be the goofiest series, and I love it.
Yeah. It's like
Um, I
it
heard that supposedly this and the Diablo cinematics were the tamed down versions.
mm,
So I look, if you're playing this, like, you already know what you're getting. It's more Doom.
it's more Doom, yeah. With
It's more Doom. It makes sense that this is coming to PS5 on day one. I thought
mhm,
Phil actually gave a pretty good explanation as to why in an interview with Ryan McCaffrey this afternoon, where he says, Doom is a classic gaming franchise. Like, we want everybody to be able to play Doom. Why wouldn't we?
mhm,
And I think that just like kind of further confirms what they're planning on doing with existing franchises from Activision and probably from Bethesda going forward.
mhm. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
uh I liked it. It's more Doom. What else is there to really say? I did like that you can ride the Cyber Dragon. It looks like
yeah, it definitely looks like you
that
can
looked
do that.
really cool.
Looks like you can do that. It looks like, yeah, I don't know, they're adding some things to the Doom formula, and it just seems like it's working.
It looks fun. I'll say that. Also, Game Pass.
Yeah,
Like, I lost track of how many times they said that, but like they are really committing to the it is first party, it is Game Pass.
yeah, which is I
Might
think
be the last year we hear that, but
uh,
what I saw a really bizarre comment about this where people were like upset that they didn't announce it for PlayStation on their stage, and I'm like, yeah, it's an Xbox show. Like, they'll put that in the press release afterwards. And sure enough, when Sony put the graphic up on their socials, it wasn't, oh, it's coming to Xbox too. No, just the PS5 logo was there. Like, come
mhm.
on, you guys gonna get upset about that too? Like, are we really getting our feelings hurt about little things like that now?
Yeah, everybody was complaining about, um, apparently IGN Live's Xbox pre-show was sponsored by PlayStation or something.
That's actually really funny.
People were complaining about that, and it was like,
I
well,
people want a
you know,
conspiracy wherever they look these
I
days.
know,
They're just looking for reasons to get upset.
I know, the
I
internet's
don't know. I don't know how you like walk away from this and you're like, yeah, even if the games aren't for you, I don't know how you walked away from this show going, yeah, the Xbox Studio plan is in jeopardy.
mhm,
Like, even if
yeah,
like, but let's just be happy we're getting quality looking AAA games.
yeah,
We've struggled for how many years with this? And speaking of like quality looking sequels and games, State of Decay 3, man.
yeah, that's,
Very, very little gameplay in this teaser. It was a blend of cinematic and there was a little bit of shooting gameplay here.
yeah, which
Kind of,
which,
it
I
was
mean,
very similar to the Fable teaser we got last year. I expect like full gameplay either later this year or like in a developer direct next year.
mhm,
Um, Looks cool. Undead Labs is completely rebranded as a studio. We actually got this leaked last night that this was going to be there by their
mhm,
own studio.
yeah,
Um, the coalition, it's confirmed, has come in to help train on Unreal 5 for both them and Obsidian. And
yeah,
Obsidian, I thought this was a cool nugget in the Xbox Wire post. Obsidian has come in to help with the shared game system. They're bringing over the system from Grounded where you can share worlds between friends.
ooh,
I thought that was very cool because I think that was one of the barriers of entry to State of Decay.
yeah,
And if you're going to evolve the world in a way that I can have a shared world with my friends, I really like the idea of that. Because I've always liked the idea of State of Decay, but I don't like the State of Decay franchise itself.
yeah,
And I feel like there's so many expansions they've done for two at this point that it's really hard to go back and get into.
yeah.
But I look forward to seeing what they cook up here. I think this is going to be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I know State of Decay 2 is actually, like, secretly huge, so
Oh, it's a very beloved game. The first one was too. The first one was really a like a cult hit.
yeah,
One of the last exclusives released for the 360, and we were all kind of like, "Well, that sucks. It's coming out like 3 months before Xbox One,"
yeah, yeah, and then they
and
made
then it
no
very quickly got a an Xbox One port announced. But
yeah,
Undead Labs has been in a bit of trouble for several years now.
yeah, it
There was reports 2.5 years ago was the last we heard about this game when they got rid of the head of studio, they got rid of the head of HR. There were a lot of harassment complaints coming out of the studio, and that Microsoft was very upset with how long development was taking.
yeah,
That seems to be when they decided to change the game to Unreal 5 and bring in the Coalition to help.
yeah.
So
I mean, I think that's smart, though. I mean, I
it is.
I think from just, like, a
Them
organizational
and Ninja
standpoint,
Theory should be the ones coaching everyone else on Unreal 5 at this studio group.
yeah, I mean, just from an organizational standpoint, like if everybody's using Unreal 5, everybody can like, oh, well, we need to borrow, you know, these guys to
Yep.
help on this mechanic or these assets or something because they're the masters of it or whatever. And it's like, it was the idea that EA had with Frostbite at one point where like, oh, well, if this studio is making, you know, uh whatever Battlefield and Madden needs a helicopter flyover, well, we can just use the asset of the helicopter from Battlefield in Madden, right? Like that was the idea, but then
Yeah, it's
Frostbite just
it's the
it.
Frostbite plan, but good.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
So
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Josh, are you a fan of the way that Dragon Age the Veil Guard looks?
Not even a little bit.
I thought I
This
thought
looks
that
goofy as hell.
I th- I thought it was that first character that showed up. I thought it was a Fable reveal.
I did at first too, and then I very quickly became happy it was not the Fable reveal.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
This looked rough.
I'm not a Dragon Age fan. I don't care about Dragon Age, but I mean, I know enough about Dragon Age 1 and 2 to know that this is exactly the opposite of what those games look like look like and feel
I've
like.
talked to a few hardcore Dragon Age fans today, and they are all very happy with this.
Oh, really?
They want to see the game. So this is a very busy week for Dragon Age. We got the cinematic trailer today. That's what they're calling it. They're doing a gameplay reveal on Tuesday, along with previews are dropping. They've allowed hands-on with outlets,
Right, because it's
and
coming out this
then
year.
next Monday, the Game Informer cover story is Dragon Age Veilguard. I'm never calling it the Veilguard. I'm calling it Veilguard.
Yeah.
Also, can we reflect on how bad of a name that is compared to Dreadwolf? Dreadwolf sounds like gritty and like medieval and exciting. This
Well, you know why they
looks
changed it.
stupid.
You know why they changed it is
No, I
because
don't, because I don't pay attention to Dragon Age.
be, well, they thought that with everything going on with the studio and how negative it feels, they didn't want the name to focus on the bad guy. They wanted to focus on the heroes.
That's silly. It feels like this game is just getting shoved out the door so that they can hurry up and get to Mass Effect.
I mean, yeah,
And I think they know at this point Mass Effect is like kind of the last ditch effort to save the studio.
yeah.
Um this I mean, it's fine. Like I have friends who are very excited for this.
Hmm.
They like it. They like the kind of like goofy tone. Because as I've had two different people explain to me, the Dragon Age is all about the companions
Hmm.
ultimately, and I was like, interesting, because I never gave a shit about the companions I encountered in Dragon Age 1. I played like maybe a third of the game and just did not care about any of the characters. I also played it like 15 years late, so wasn't a fan. But of the three medieval fantasy RPGs shown here, this hands down looked the worst. It's like not even a question for I really can't believe Microsoft must have had a marketing deal in place for years for this game to have shown it at their showcase.
Hmm.
I really can't believe, like, I have to imagine Phil's response when he saw that trailer was like, really? Really?
Hmm.
Like, you do know that we own Elder Scrolls, Fable, and the Pillars of Eternity universe, right? Like, really? Just like, I'm going to iterate this again. Oh, excuse me, 4 fantasy RPGs, because we technically had ESO shown here too.
Yeah.
I don't know which looked worse, this or the ESO trailer. I truly don't know which one was more underwhelming to me.
I mean, I feel like it's an obligation at this point to make sure ESO and Fallout 76 show up at anything.
I'm okay. Like, I'm low key okay with that, because ESO always launches their expansions in June,
Hmm.
and they have even before Microsoft bought them. Like, I'm okay with it. It's just like a quick, like, 45 seconds to a minute being like, hey, remember us? We exist, and we're on every platform. You can play us even on PlayStation. You can play us on Mac even. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
those are revenue bases. Like, I get it. It's the same reason Sea of Thieves gets a seasonal trailer during their big showcase. Like, this is stuff that if they really wanted to, they could just hand it to Jeff Keighley.
Hmm.
And I don't think anybody would even bat an eye at it. It'd be like, oh, Microsoft is freeing up like 5 minutes during its show. Big deal. Like,
Yeah.
okay, fine. It's a little filler content. You're reminding us you are the best place to play games as a service, like, hands down. Notice how they avoided the Overwatch of it all today?
Yeah. No Overwatch today. I'm
No
shocked.
Overwatch. I was laughing about that. I was like, oh boy, no Overwatch, and oh boy, here's a cinematic World of Warcraft trailer to remind you that exists too.
Yeah.
I think this year
Yeah.
was all about reminding you about like all the IP that they own, even if it wasn't like we have new games for these. Like Fallout's under our roof. It just had its kick-ass show. Elder Scrolls is here. Diablo's here.
Mhm.
You've gotten used to seeing Diablo at these shows, but World of Warcraft is here too, and like we've had Overwatch in the past. And the announcement I was shocked that wasn't here, given their partnership with them, is Riot's Valorant. I really thought
It was
Valorant coming to
there.
consoles would be a much bigger deal.
Oh, I was gonna say Valorant was there.
That was at so they announced it at Summer Game Fest that it was coming to consoles. And I mean, I guess that they just did it at a neutral location because it's coming to PS5 also. But they have a partnership through Game Pass for Riot. I'm very curious to see if Valorant ends up being a part of that
Yeah.
on console.
I wonder.
I wonder. I'm genuinely really curious, and I haven't seen anybody pose the question yet. But that's like the one announcement from Summer Game Fest that actually matters. I think.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out.
What a dud of a show, man! No matter
Yeah.
what you think about this was 10 times better than whatever Summer Game Fest was.
Yeah, I didn't watch Summer Game
You
Fest.
missed nothing.
I didn't
Um,
oh, I didn't watch it.
we got a couple DLCs here.
Yeah. So Starfield DLC Shattered Space was shown off. I keep wanting to call it Shattered Star.
I
Shattered
keep wanting
Space.
to call it that too. Did you get a Prey vibe from this?
Kinda.
I
Like
did too, and
the
I was
little
like, well, that's bananas insulting after
yeah.
Arcane Austin just closed.
Yeah, I thought it was some sort of like Prey sequel at first.
Like
Like all the
crossover, even.
yeah, like especially like the DLC for Prey, what was it called? The Moon Crash,
Yeah.
whatever. Like that's the vibe I got from this.
I got that vibe too. I'm actually really excited for the story they're going to tackle here. Let me pull it up. I had the link somewhere, and I hope I didn't close out of it. Here we go. The home planet of House Varen remains a mystery to the vast majority of citizens of the settled systems. The religious zealots that make up this clandestine faction are known only by their dangerous reputation. When a distress signal originating from a derelict star station leads you on a path to Varon Kai, you begin to uncover the secrets surrounding the followers of the Great Serpent, explore a new location, take on new enemies, and experience the story of House Varen when Shattered Space launches later this year. I think this sounds dope.
Mm-hmm.
We've thought for a long time this is what it was going to focus on. Like back to when the vanilla game came out, people were like, "Oh, the DLC is totally about House Varen."
Mm-hmm.
I think this is really cool. I love that they had a free update available today with so many of these games.
Yeah,
And this is one too. Mod support is here today, Corey.
mod support.
Official mod support via the creation kit, new bounty hunting features and quests, and improvements to melee weapons for the highlight of the June update.
Does that
And it
apply
is
to the Xbox version too? The mod
yep,
support?
yep, yep. I am very excited. I
Are
I
you gonna
will
make it
not
the
come back
Mandalorian
until
game?
Shattered Space is out, but I'm very excited for this.
Are you gonna make it the Mandalorian game that they were showing?
I am, in
Before showing?
fact. I'm gonna play as Din Djarin. I'm very excited.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other DLC they showed off here was the Fallout 76 DLC Skyline Valley. How do you feel about that, Josh?
I'm indifferent to Fallout 76. I have a group of friends who are super duper into this, mainly because they can play with their spouses. So it's kind of like their chill back and relax game. But it's the first zone they've ever like truly added. That's not like you got to depart to go explore this area.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was very cool that they're expanding it, new vault and everything, and that's available today. And then early or available on the 12th. Excuse me, it's available in 3 days on or in early 2025 you can play as a ghoul. That is fascinating to me. I want to see how that plays.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
I think this is cool. I really like that this game has, I still don't think it's very good, but it has turned its reputation around in such a way that I feel like if Microsoft doesn't buy Bethesda, it probably ends support like a year or two ago. But
Yeah,
Microsoft is kind of like, hey, it's money, man. Like, mainline Bethesda isn't really developing this anymore. So, as long as it's not taking resources away from anything else, go for it.
yeah,
That's the vibe that I got here. So,
yeah.
cool.
Cool.
I'm happy. I'm happy for my friends who are going to enjoy their time in Vault 63.
Yeah, I'm happy for the people that enjoy
And
this
it's
game.
seen a huge boon with the Fallout show.
Oh
So,
yeah, that and Fallout 4, right? Those both have seen.
yep, have seen huge rises on the Steam charts and Game Pass charts.
Yeah,
So, very
yeah.
excited.
So, all right, Josh. This was an interesting new game called Expedition 33. Uh, it looked really interesting. I don't know
This is the
how.
turn-based one, correct?
This is the turn-based
Yep.
combat game that is all about like preventing death because of a a fictional
I
painter who
like
paints death.
weird shit. So, I'm very interested in this. The fact that it's coming to Game Pass means I'm going to try it at least.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was one of two games we saw today from Kepler Interactive
yeah,
publisher. So
yeah,
it's from Sandfall.
yeah. This looks this reminds me of like those Focus Entertainment games of like the like Banishers that came out a little bit, like
Yeah.
something on
So
that level.
Kepler, for those who don't know, they have published Sifu and Scorn,
Hmm.
as well as Flintlock. They're publishing Flintlock, which is coming out later this year.
Hmm.
They published Pacific Drive earlier this year, and Tachia, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah,
Yeah. So they've published some very interesting games in their short time as a publisher.
yeah.
They've got a good eye, I think. So I'm very interested to see this game pan out.
Yep. They've been very, very good at pumping out some I don't want this to sound bad, but like B tier games, I guess you would say. Some
I mean, these are
double
like the
A
double A games
experiences.
of old.
Yeah. So
And we need games that are like this. We
yeah,
really do. Like that aren't indies, like that aren't like these small experiences, but aren't like these 80-hour behemoths.
yeah. This is
So
cool. I like it. I think it's gonna be interesting. I
I
think
think
it's
it's
gonna be
gonna be
fun.
very interesting no matter what. Yeah.
I think the turn-based combat is an interesting choice for a game like this.
That's what got me the most excited, I think.
Yeah.
Was that I saw somebody joke that man, it's nice to have a turn-based RPG these days that isn't about high schoolers in Japan. And I just started laughing because of course, it's about Persona.
Yeah.
I think it was a more of a dig at Persona 6 not being there like a lot of people thought it would be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they want all the focus on metaphor, right? They're not gonna
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
Persona 6.
And Microsoft has the marketing on that too, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Um but
Yeah. And then Josh, after this, we saw an extensive look at South of Midnight finally.
yeah, let's talk about my runner up for game of the show here.
Yeah, it looks so it's a third
This looks
person action
rad.
game. I love the art style. I
Yep.
love the combat. I like there's a section where she's like kind of flying like Spider-Man with a wingsuit.
I saw somebody call this Bayonetta online today, and
Oh my
I just
god.
it has stuck now.
That's that's amazing. Yeah,
Bayonetta. I was like, oh, I'm stealing that.
that's a great name. You should have
Th-
just kept it as your own, Josh. You shouldn't have
it was a fairly big Twitter account that said it, so I would have been found out. I think that this looks really cool. Though, it looks really unique. This is the game that Phil claimed a couple years ago was his favorite game currently in development at any studio.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
this
mean, I know that those are just words, but man, I can if this is what he was seeing, I can see why he was excited.
Yeah, and coming from Compulsion too, which was like, okay, yeah, Contrast was okay. We
We
Happy
Happy
Few
Few
didn't
is just
set the world on
weird.
fire, like, but like this looks awesome. I think this looks this looks awesome. I love the tone and the I don't know. It just there's a lot about it that
Yeah,
there's a
let me
lot to
read the
like.
elevator pitch here from Xbox Wire.
Yeah,
Uh, this the footage reintroduces us to our heroine Hazel, now accompanied by a character who will follow her throughout the game, the loquacious Catfish. Following a Category 5 hurricane, Hazel has lost her mother but gained once dormant powers of weaving, a magical ability that allow her to rework the tapestry of energy that makes up the universe. That doesn't come too soon, as reality has begun to itself has begun to fray, leading her deeper and deeper into a magical realist world where folktale creatures have sprung to life and corruption is overtaking ruins left in the hurricane's path. I think this is really, really, really cool.
Yeah,
Two-toed Tom, a blind albino alligator the size of an island.
yeah. I love it. I love everything about this game. I think it looks awesome. I'm very excited for this. This is coming 2025, right? Just a
Yes.
open 2025 date. I'm assuming since they showed gameplay, it would be at least maybe first half or by
The
summer,
rumor
maybe.
that was going around was Q1, Q2,
Yeah, that.
which I would believe. There were some believing it would come out this fall, even before the showcase happened.
Yeah,
So
that's what I initially heard, but I'm like, you're not going to put it out alongside Call of Duty and Avowed and Indiana Jones. I think it would get lost. I think you need that open. I mean, not that, not that there's really any open space in putting games
Uh,
out anymore, but
Also, Compulsion describes the world as wide linear, a series of distinct chapters with a set beginning and end with opportunities to explore along the way. The way we
awesome,
built the environment is because we want players to follow the narrative but have more to sink their teeth into. You can
awesome,
sometimes see more open hub like sections
awesome. I love
to
it.
find currency and upgrades.
So it's like Tomb Raider essentially, like the Rise of the Tomb Raider world.
Very, very similar. Each new region will come with its own biome, reflective of the South's wildly varied landscapes. All biomes are inspired by real world locations. They won't go into detail about the later game yet, but tells me the section we see here as we're about to exit the flood, and is as you're about to exit the flood and enter the Mississippi Delta style countryside. So
This,
I think this is very this game sounds really cool. It's rooted in Deep South mythology.
mhm.
I can't wait.
Yeah. So I'm really the thing that I'm excited most about now that I've seen it in action is like the cutscenes are very like stop motion, right? And
Hmm.
the gameplay is not, which was kind of what I was worried about a little bit, but the gameplay looks fluid and fast paced and fun. So uh,
Yeah, I think it looks great. I think this game looks like a lot of fun. I see no reason that if you like unique games, this got to be on your radar. I think.
yeah. And there's not a lot of you know not a lot of games at all ever I think that tackle this sort of tone or this mythology or this culture or
Yep,
anything, right? So I mean, this is an interesting game from all fronts.
I agree. This was one of two or three games I saw getting unanimous praise today.
Hmm. Yeah, this was the first. I think this was the first game that I was like extra excited for. You know,
Yeah, for
like
what it's worth, the ones I saw the most love for were this Doom and
mhm.
of course uh Perfect Dark.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of
I
love for Gears too, but Gears, trailer, not gameplay. So
yeah that
in terms of gameplay, those are the
yeah
three that really seem to hammer home for people.
yeah. I mean, if I was a Doom person, I think Doom would have gotten me excited, but I'm not exactly a Doom person, so. Uh, but you know what? You know what? You know what? Old game showed up here, Josh, with a new something. It was
World of
wow,
Warcraft. Yeah.
wow.
This
Some
was very much a hey, please remember that we own this thing.
yeah. It was funny.
Um,
My cousin texted me.
mhm,
He's not doesn't like watch this stuff at all, really, right? But
right.
he for somehow he saw this and he was like, is World of Warcraft coming to Xbox? I'm like, no, this is just a reminder that Xbox owns it now or Microsoft
Right.
owns it now. He's like, "Oh." He's like, "I got really excited. I wanted to play
Well,
more."
and they have an expansion coming out this year. This is the first one that Chris Metzen is back for.
Mhm,
The former lead on World of Warcraft
mhm.
came back and has assumed control of the franchise entirely. So very good news. I have friends who have not played WoW in like a decade who are excited for this expansion as a result.
Yeah. This
This was
is,
very big. This may not be big to like console gamers who are watching this, but PC gamers who still play WoW are like going ape shit right now.
yeah, I saw a lot of things that I just recognized just from absorbing the
Yeah,
game through osmosis at this point.
it's cool. Like again, this is something like I don't. You're not going to see WoW trailers every year here.
No.
But this very much is, hey, we don't have a BlizzCon happening this year because both this and Vessel of Hatred are going to be out by then. So
Yeah,
we got to cram it in somewhere. They can't wait till Gamescom, which is presumably where we're getting the Vessel of Hatred gameplay debut.
yeah,
Um, we can't do it, then because Gamescom is like right as this is releasing.
right.
So
Yeah. I mean, it looks cool. I hope WoW players are excited because I
yeah,
know that community has been through some ups and downs in the last few expansions. I know people wish certain things were different, but looks cool. Hope people enjoy it.
It looks fine. Yeah, it looks fine. Like, cool. People are going to be excited about this. This
Yeah.
was the only part of it that I felt was like, okay, I don't really care about like any of this for a
What
few
are
games.
you talking about? Oh, like this whole section, I guess.
Yeah, because we went from World of Warcraft into as impressive as the visuals are. Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. I know Snake Eater is one of the most beloved games of all time. It's just it as a Metal Gear game, it never did it for me. Funny enough, like I actually really like Metal Gear 1, 2, and 4. Could not get into Snake Eater. Could not get into it. But I really love the others. So
I've never played a Snake
I
Eater.
may give it the old college try again, but no date on this one either.
Yeah.
So got to assume it's probably next year. I thought it was very funny that this was at the PlayStation Presents last year, and now it's at Xbox this year.
Yeah.
Did we just trade games somewhere along the way?
Somewhere apparently.
So cool. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves has a new season coming. Yay!
Yay! You get
Again,
to
if you're
play
in the sea, and I mean, hey, Sea of Thieves is doing something right. 35 million players,
Yeah. I mean,
and it shot
it's
back up the
killing.
sales charts again.
I mean, it's killing on PlayStation apparently.
It's killing. I mean, it's absolutely slaying out over there. So, hey, good for you guys. There was no way you weren't going to see it this year, even without a proper expansion, because it's on brand new platforms.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I'm glad. I'm glad Rare is finding success because another show without Everwild.
oh my god.
But and Metal Gear and Sea of Thieves, I just I kind of tuned out. I didn't really care. Flintlock, though, the other Kepler game here,
It still exists.
it still exists. It looks fun. I mean, it looks fun.
It looks fun. It's coming out very soon.
Yeah. What was the release date on that game?
July 18th.
Yeah. So it's quick, and that's a Game Pass game, right?
That's a Game Pass game. Yep.
So another
It's from the makers of Ashen, which
yeah, which was like that Souls like.
yeah, they said this is a Souls like also.
Mhm.
Souls Light, I think, was their exact terminology in the trailer.
Yeah.
So cool. I'll at least check it out. It's on Game Pass. So I'll at least probably check it out.
Yeah, I will check it out on Game Pass. I think the first time I saw this game, I thought it looked really awesome. For a long time, I thought this and Immortals of Avium were the same game
I did too, frankly.
because they look.
No, I got this and Banishers of Eden
Yeah,
confused.
yeah, that too. Oh man,
You know, I don't think they're anything alike.
no. And then the pirate game that Focus does, the Greedfall, they all look the same. They all look the same.
Age of Mythology. I've got one person in my life who's excited for this, and he was very excited.
Yeah, I mean,
It's the same person in my life who was excited about Civilization 7.
yeah. Well, that makes sense.
So
I used to love Age of Empires, and I still have a soft spot for it. But Age of Mythology, I just never got into.
I was a Rise of Nations kid,
Hmm.
Which is like discount Age of Empires,
Right.
made by Microsoft also.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fun with that growing up.
Yeah. I also played a lot of the Star Wars Age of Empires game, Battlegrounds or whatever.
Galactic Civilizations.
No, it wasn't that. It was
Oh, you played a different one then. I remember Galactic Civilizations.
It was whatever the one that was built on the Age of Empires engine.
Empire at War?
No, it was Galactic something, but it wasn't Galactic Civilizations. It was like Galactic Battlegrounds, I think is what it was called. But yeah, that was fun. I think Ensemble did that too.
We're both thinking of the same game. It's Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
I thought it was Galactic Civilizations. Nope, Galactic Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
We both thought of the same game.
Yeah. And then they put out the episode 1 and 2 expansion, and I thought it would be really fun to try to make my own scenarios based off the movies, and that
it was not.
It was not fun.
I think that the coolest little detail about this is that it's coming to both console and PC on the same day.
Yeah.
Speaking of games like this, though, where was Aura at?
Yeah, I know.
That's supposed to come out this year, and I feel like it's also a 4X or whatever you call it experience, and I'm like, where is this game, guys? Where was that in Towerborn? I was floored Towerborn was not here.
Yeah, I thought. I mean, remember when we thought that was going to be the game that was like?
I thought it was going to get shadow dropped into game preview.
Yeah,
The games I was really surprised that and 33 Immortals. Very surprised neither of those was here.
Yeah,
Um,
that's weird. I wonder.
I
I
mean,
mean, I,
33 Immortals just had a tech test,
yeah,
so and that's going to launch in a game preview when it does come out. Towerborn, the word is that it's going into early access later this year. Could be a Gamescom thing. Who
maybe.
knows? They've been clear they want to use Gamescom for more announcements. So
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that they didn't hold Perfect Dark for that since
I'm not.
or
I'm not. Put it at your main show. Show you have confidence in it.
not Perfect Dark, Fable, I guess, because it's a European
I mean,
studio.
if this is the one show that people are going to watch this year, like I'd rather have the heavy hitters here.
Sure.
And like Towerborn, people like at least they might not remember it, but they at least know about it because it was center last year,
Yeah.
and it's been playable at Gamescom in the past.
Yeah.
So I would expect them to have it again there, just to kind of keep the train rolling. But can we move on to my game of the show?
Sure. That
Perfect
was
Dark, baby. Perfect Dark.
I thought you were gonna say mixtape.
Was Mixtape the next one?
No.
Okay. I actually really like Mixtape, but Perfect Dark, man. This looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, Perfect Dark looks a lot different than I thought it was going to look, but in a good way. I
In a
think
very, very, very good
because
way.
I'm like, how are you gonna make a because when I think of Perfect Dark, I mean I just think of the N64 game, and I mean Perfect Dark Zero. You can just call whatever you want, but
Yeah.
I mean it's basically a fast paced first person shooter. I'm like, how are you gonna do that when you own Doom and Halo and Call of Duty now? Like, how are you gonna differentiate a first person shoot? And they did it. This is a slow paced first person immersive spy game. It
It's
looks like.
funny that you say that because in the Xbox Wire post it says Team Perfect Dark doesn't want this to feel like any one genre. It takes elements of FPSs, immersive sims, and stealth action, but blends them into a seamless whole. The goal is to offer a true secret agent fantasy and let players use their various tools and abilities the way they want is key to it.
Yeah. I'm
This is a reboot, by the
Yep.
way.
Yep. Yep. Which is good. I'm glad. I'm glad. I mean, nobody.
You are set in future Cairo, also.
Yeah, which is cool. And
Um,
it seems like a dense like city instead of going
yes,
multiple places, except for the end. They clearly tease going to space because aliens, right? I mean,
I mean Perfect Dark.
yeah,
So,
that's what I
um,
mean. Like, Perfect Dark is about the aliens, so
the
essentially,
near future world of Perfect Dark has been impacted by the Cascade, in which the planet has suffered from a series of environmental disasters, rendering entire regions inhospitable to human life. In the wake of the disaster, a hypercorporation known as Core Mantis steps in to create a solution known as the Gen Network and deploys it in Cairo, restoring ecological balance and creating a freshly walled city insulated from the hostile environment outside to become a center for technological innovation. In its wake, other hypercorporations step in to continue that regeneration, but as you might expect, not all is as it seems, and their motives are less altruistic than they appear. It's key
what?
that the setting communicates a hopeful future, seeing a world with both destruction and restoration, the bleakness of the past countered with a sense of promise.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds cool. I'm more excited than I was. I mean, like, I'm if you've been paying attention to anything about the initiative at all, you like this game just never like you said that either before we started recording or at the very top of the show, like we thought this was going to get quietly canceled and just kind of pushed away, right? And
Yeah, I was absolutely convinced it was going to be quietly canceled because Rebecca Valentine reported last summer about this game and the troubled state it was in.
yeah, I mean, they
Um,
brought Crystal Dynamics in to basically
yep,
take over
save the
development.
game essentially.
Yeah, I mean, they've basically taken over development. The initiative has lost almost everybody that they've hired, right? So,
Yeah, I want to read Rebecca's tweet real fast about the reveal. Really happy to see Perfect Dark teams have rallied. It looks like they found a good direction and are committed to it, and glad the one they landed on has a mirror's edge vibe.
yeah, it looks really
Reb
good.
is one of the best in the business at what she does, so we pay attention when Reb writes an article. And two studios that she's covered in the last year were featured in this showcase. So
Yeah, I'm very happy Perfect Dark
dude, I'm
found its footing.
so excited about this. This looks awesome. There is a risk reward for going quiet, going loud, lethal, non-lethal, close quarters, taking down multiple enemies at once. It looks awesome.
Mhm.
This looks so I can't wait. This looks so cool.
Yeah, it looks good. I'm glad that they found a way, right? It
Yeah.
seemingly to different because that was I mean, I just said it, but like I was worried that they wouldn't be able to find a way to differentiate it, and they clearly have. So, uh,
They clearly have. I think that. I mean, I was at the point where I was ready to start calling for maybe we need a change in leadership at that studio, or to hand the project off to another studio like the Coalition or something.
yeah,
Because it's not being made by a huge team, maybe
yeah,
establish a team at another Microsoft studio and have them overlook it.
yeah,
They're in SoCal. Maybe have InXile pick it up or Obsidian oversee it or something, even though they don't make those kinds of games,
yeah,
just something. And man, Daryl Gallagher seems to have rallied these teams.
yeah,
They finally have something worth showing. It's the first time we've seen this in 3.5 years.
yeah. Well, if they're making some sort of like need immersive sim aspects, you guys just closed the studio that has some of that experience. Why don't you bring some of them in?
Well, and that was kind of my take from it too. Is like, why don't you go get some of the people who made Dishonored? Like, instead, like, be like, hey, yeah, we're gonna close down Arcane Austin, but we'd really like for you guys to. And I don't know that this pitch would have exactly gone over well, but you guys want
Yeah,
to come work on Perfect Dark?
right.
The game that we haven't talked about publicly in 3 years because people think it's dead.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's hard not to feel that this team could have benefited from like Harvey Smith coming over.
yeah,
Or some of the lead level designers on Prey, and granted, a lot of people who worked on Prey and Dishonored have since left
yeah.
Arcane Austin.
Right.
And a lot of those folks, I believe, have actually joined like either Arcane in Lyon, or they went to another Bethesda studio, or they came here. We know they recruited some from there. Um, it's just that's a very specific niche, and when you're good at it, that's all you want to make, and that's all you should be making.
Yeah,
It's just be aware that those games probably aren't going to make you a ton of money.
yeah,
So I'm stoked for this. I think this looks awesome. This is clearly out pre-alpha gameplay. It looks beautiful.
yeah. It looks awesome.
It looks beautiful. It looks fluid. This is obviously a very controlled vertical slice that we saw, but
Yeah,
I'm stoked to learn more. Not dated, but if I had to guess, this is targeting next Christmas.
yeah. I would say this is a next holiday game.
I would say it's either next holiday or early 26, with it being undated. But this was the highlight for me. I think it was totally out of the left field and unexpected. You could have closed on this, and I wouldn't have blamed you.
Yeah,
I
the
actually am really surprised they didn't close on. I think if you swap this in Gears, you probably still get the same reaction, but you would have left like, okay, jaws are on the floor that they ended with fucking Perfect Dark because they're that confident in it.
yeah,
Or you open the show with it even, but it was obvious you were going to open with Black Ops. So
yeah,
not obvious, but they want to remind you that they own it.
yeah, yeah.
All
I
right,
mean,
Corey,
Phil,
what's
Phil was
next?
Phil was even wearing a Black Ops T-shirt. So, so Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred was shown off. The opening cinematic of the DLC was shown off. So, and then they reminded you what 3 times that this game is on Game Pass. So they really want you to know that Diablo is on Game Pass and that they own it.
I
What
love
did you
Diablo 4.
What did you think of the cinematic?
I think this is awesome. Diablo is a very gruesome series, so
Yeah,
this matched the tone.
this made me cringe a few times just because it was
You are
gross.
not the only person who said that to me today.
I mean, this is exactly the reason why I don't play Diablo was this cinematic.
I really liked Diablo 4 though. I haven't gone back to play the seasonal content, but I have really enjoyed Diablo 4. I played it a lot last summer. It was my game of the summer. I put it at number 10, I think, on our rankings for game of the year.
Yeah,
I
so
look forward to playing more of this. Hey man, when Rod Ferguson works on something, I pull up.
yeah.
So
I have a I have a Rod Ferguson comment later when we get to Gears. But that'll
very excited. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that this seems
$40. It's a $40 expansion, which I think is more than fair. It is not included in Game Pass, which again, more than fair.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Fable. They did another kind of reveal of a character, right? And it was still pretty funny. Not as funny as the last
This
one.
is clearly the player character.
Yeah.
She was in last year when we saw the little tiny gameplay snippets, but wasn't
Oh,
officially
I was
revealed.
talking about the hero of Albion.
Oh, the leader of the Heroes Guild, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's who I was talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah.
No, they
I still like this. I think the tone is great.
yeah,
I've got a couple friends who are pretty leery on it. One, because it's a new studio handling it, but two, like the vibe, like it's very British in its
yeah,
humor.
I'm excited. This
I'm
feels like
very excited. I think that the open gameplay segments we saw look really good, but we need to see more combat. This again does not have a date. I actually wouldn't be shocked to see a gameplay reveal, like a full-on gameplay reveal at Gamescom.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because I think this is either first half next year or it's at the latest it's summer.
Yeah,
They want this out before Grand Theft Auto.
yeah,
They want to avoid, everybody and their mother wants to avoid two things next year, and that's Grand Theft Auto 6 and the launch of the Switch 2.
yep. Speaking of speaking of things, Josh, that weren't at the showcase, when was the last time Forza didn't show up on an Xbox showcase?
I don't know, but I was actually really happy that Forza wasn't there.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna be 100% with you.
yeah. I mean, I
They gotta fix Motorsport still. I know they're working on it. It's a lot better than when it came out, but if anything, I thought maybe Horizon could show up here. Um,
yeah,
that feels like it's being saved either for next year or for the launch of the next console, whenever that is.
yeah.
So
2026 is what they're saying,
2026,
right?
but then it's like, ugh, do you really want to have Horizon 5 have a 5-year life cycle? Like that, 3 years is already, I think, kind of like the max they want to do. But with them just having a new motorsport out last year, that may have given them a bit of a buffer.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. Like maybe just do another DLC for it down the line. Who fucking cares?
yeah.
I
Put some more
also think that
Legos in
they've
it.
pulled a lot from that team to get Fable out the door.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I mean,
The confirmation that Eidos Montreal is in fact working on this game, it's been reported, but I don't think it was ever officially confirmed.
yeah,
Eidos officially confirming today,
yeah. Well,
so
that's good.
very excited for them. We love to see quality teams get work.
Yeah, especially ones that are in danger of being closed by the Embracer Group.
Yes.
So,
So then they go to work for the American Embracer Group.
jeez. Except
No,
Microsoft's
this was
not.
cool. This was
Except,
cool.
except Microsoft's not in financial trouble. Just.
No, they're not. They're just stupid.
Oh man. Speaking of, I don't know. I don't. There's no good transition for this Valorant trailer, which I thought was the Overwatch hero at first.
Okay, so I had to rebuff my stream during this.
Yeah.
I actually was completely unaware that Valorant was here.
Yeah, there's a short Valorant trailer.
Okay, okay,
It just said coming to consoles is what it said.
that makes sense.
So,
Okay,
um,
so ignore what I complained about earlier.
yeah. Well, I thought you knew it was there, but they just didn't make it a big deal. Is
No,
what I thought.
I did not know it was there actually. I did like them saying that they came out and clarified a few things the other day that there is not going to be crossplay
Yeah.
between PC and console. Controllers are still not allowed on PC, and it'll be only Xbox and PS5 in their pool. So
Mhm.
I like that. I will give this a shot. But yeah, this is a totally different shooter than I think most console players are used to.
Yeah. I mean, this is like this
I
is
mean,
like when
it
they
is
put
free to
count.
play. I just really wonder if the Game Pass perk is still there for it.
I think the PC perk is still there.
The PC perk is still there. That's why I'm curious if it's going to be
Yeah.
for what you call it
Yeah.
for a console.
Mhm. After the Valorant trailer, we saw a game called Frag Punk.
I was excited for this for about 20 seconds until they said it was a 5v5 hero shooter, and then I turned my brain off.
Yeah. Well,
It looked really cool, and then they ruined it. I don't even have it in my notes here.
yeah, this is the year the hero shooter returns. I mean,
That's how upset I was. I don't even have it listed here in my notes.
With Concord and this, and then like Overwatch doesn't even show up. And then we saw Winterboro, which was that kind of
I think this looks
artsy
neat.
mouse game. Looked interesting and neat
Yeah.
and different. Very different from the rest of the show, right? I mean, very clearly something that it seemed like Phil was excited for it. So afterwards, so I don't know if you saw any of his tweets or not, but he seemed very excited for this afterwards, and I'm glad that they showed something like this because this seemed to be the section where they started showing stuff like this because we saw this, we saw a mixtape.
I think mixtape looks awesome.
I still have no idea what mixtape is.
I'm very excited for this game. This is probably my indie standout of the game, of the series, of the show. This was my indie standout.
This was what, that 90s kind of teen comedy.
Yep, which is exactly why it pertains to me. You look at the music that they have in there, and those are all bands on my playlist.
There's very clearly a Ferris Bueller reference in the trailer where
I'm okay with it. I'll allow it.
I mean, Ferris Bueller is one of my favorite movies of all time. So
I will allow any 90s teen romp style game to come out and be okay with it. Because guess what? Later on, they also addressed another series that I love with great music.
Yeah, I
maybe there won't be Nazi symbols hidden in this one.
Oh God! Wait, what was there?
Oh God! I'll address this when we get to Life is Strange.
Oh boy, maybe I don't want to know.
Flight Sim.
Speaking of Nazi symbols, Flight Sim. They showed some old timey planes.
Flight Sim is cool. It's got its audience at this point. It's got a huge audience on PC. This continues to be cool. I love the addition of the Red Bull races in particular. But so also, funny. I mean, they have so many different types of flights you can do now.
Yeah,
it's very cool. I dig this. I will probably play it just a little bit just to fool around with some stuff. But yeah, until Asobo is going to make me a Top Gun Maverick game, I'm probably not interested.
There's jeez, I forgot that DLC wasn't there DLC in the first one for that?
I believe there was, but I want a real Top Gun game.
And then Dune, what a weird.
Okay, flying the Omnicopter looks really cool. I'm not gonna lie.
So after Flight Sim was the Elder Scrolls Online new expansion. Yay!
Yay! More ESO. If you were the audience for this, you're the audience for it. Congratulations.
10 years of it though.
10 years. 10 years. Now let's get to Life is Strange.
Josh's game.
I adore the first Life is Strange. It is one of the most special stories I've ever played in a game. I played it at a very low point in my life. I really enjoyed it. The second and third did not really capture the same magic for me. I didn't dislike them, but I didn't like them as much. I think Max was a really endearing protagonist. And then if you play Before the Storm, which was the prequel, it also, it sets up the events of the game. I thought that was also really cool. The reveal that this is Max from the first one was really, really cool to me.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people really excited.
I'm very stoked for this. I'm less stoked that Deck 9 is making it. And let me state my case here. Deck 9 has said in the past they were not fans of the first Life is Strange. So why are you making a game with Max? Second of all, there was an expose that came out less than a year ago about how Deck 9 had a real culture issue going all the way up to studio leadership that is now no longer there, of harassment, of predatory behavior, and also of putting Nazi iconography into Life is Strange 3.
Jeez.
Hiding it in ways that you would really, that it's a dog whistle to, anti-Semitics and, white nationalists and things like that. You really would only notice if you are, and you would only have knowledge of if you're super duper online. But it's enough that it's there and people were noticing it overtly when they were playing and testing the game and reporting it. Yeah. It was this whole ongoing saga. Reb wrote a great piece on it at IGN. Highly encourage you read it. But yeah, I'm excited for this, but it's hard for me to get too excited knowing that it's coming from that studio that still has culture problems. And it's so bizarre that you would do this in a series that is so like pro LGBTQ, that is so like pro be yourself, like fuck the Nazis, fuck everybody else. Like, yeah, it's very bizarre that this is the game you chose to try and pull that with. Why are you even working at a studio that makes games like that is my question.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm stoked. I think this is going to be really good. It comes out this year, which surprises me. I did not expect this to be out this year, but yeah.
Interesting. That's a series I've not played, but I've kind of wanted to. And I just have never gotten to it. I own the first one and Before the Storm, so maybe I'll check those out because this looked really good. This looked This looked this looked higher budget than the other ones. I don't want that to sound mean, but like,
No, it really does. It looks like they were this and I'll say True Colors had real budgets behind
yeah. So it looks exciting.
them.
I will maybe check it out.
I think one is just such a special game. So
Life is Strange Double Exposure coming this year. Also coming this year, Josh. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
yeah, this continues to look just fucking dope.
Yeah, I can't wait.
This looks magnificent every time.
I mean, this is my most anticipated game of the year, I think, still.
It's close for me. I won't say that it is, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're as big of an Indiana Jones fan as I am.
I
So,
mean, I'm a pretty big Indiana Jones fan.
I mean, I know you are, but man,
I've waited for, 20 years for a good game. So
that's fair.
this looks like it has perfectly captured the tone of Indiana Jones
Oh yeah,
also.
and Troy
I'm
Baker's
still not convinced that's not Harrison Ford.
dude. Troy Baker's doing such an amazing job of
He's
his
doing so
impression.
good.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I
And
cannot
it
wait.
is really, really good. I think Machine Games is really cooked here.
Yeah,
I look forward to playing this.
I cannot wait. I can't wait. Dude, the scene when they're like on the in the snowy area on that platform, and that the crazy villain guy was like laughing. It was like, oh my god,
It
this
was
is amazing.
so over the top
It
that it
was
was like, yeah,
awesome.
this is classic indie.
Yeah, it was so awesome. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Uh, After Indiana Jones, we saw a game called Mecha Break.
Yeah, this is a game that our friend Ray is very excited about.
I at first I thought this was that Damon X Machina
I
sequel.
thought this was a Gundam game at first,
Yeah.
and I got very excited thinking it was a Gundam game.
Sorry, Josh. It's not a Gundam game.
It's okay. It's okay.
I
It's
mean,
probably better for me that it's not a Gundam game.
I guess it kind of is. It's a mech game, and you can paint them different colors. Josh, we got Gundam suits in Destiny. You telling me you can't make a
I got
Gundam in a
Gundam
mech
suits in
game?
Call of Duty last week, Corey.
Fair. You also got Cheech and
Actual
Chong.
licensed Gundam suits.
You also got Cheech and Chong, apparently, right? That was a thing.
Unfortunately, I spent money on Gundam suits. I did not spend money on Cheech and Chong.
Who still cares about Cheech and Chong?
People I went to college with, probably.
I mean, like Tommy Chong voices the hippie car in Cars. That's like the most relevant I think he is at this point.
Probably. But
Um,
I mean, from here there were several cool games from this point.
yeah. So that Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, that it looks like another Chinese based development.
It's not for me.
It looks interesting. I again, yeah, like you said, it's not for me either, but it looks interesting.
Yeah,
The quality is there. It just looks like a game that it's not for me, right? So,
it looks fine. Yeah, it looks fine.
yeah, it looks fine.
So
And then what? Avowed got another trailer. Which,
Avowed looks fantastic.
yeah, I know.
Everyone who was quote scared about this game 4 months ago, shut the fuck up.
I mean, it. What do you want from it? It looks like their version of a Elder Scrolls. What do you want?
It looks good. I like that we got more story. It is getting, by the time you are listening to this, it will be getting an official episode on the Xbox podcast
Yeah,
with an extended gameplay segment. So very excited for that also.
yeah. I mean, it looks good. Continues to look good, right? So, uh, the next game that they showed was called Atomfall, which looks like it's I don't know. It gave me We Happy Few vibes, Josh. Or the what was
Adamfall gave me discount Fallout vibes.
what was that game that came out last year? That had kind of Bioshocky vibes, but Russian. The Atom.
Atomic Heart,
Yeah, that one, Atomic Heart. Yes, that's kind
which I
of.
only ever heard one person be excited for, and I don't take their opinion seriously.
I don't know if I heard anybody talk about
I
that
will
game.
I will tell you after.
Oh, okay. Is it somebody we know?
Yes.
Okay.
So I will tell you after.
Okay. uh, so that's kind of the vibes that gave me.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Shadows continues to impress me.
I need to see actual gameplay.
I mean, I love Assassin's Creed, but
I don't.
that's my.
This has me interested, but like it's more Assassin's Creed. We have like 15 of these. Find a new game. Find a new series, guys.
I mean, it's continues to sell
I
millions of copies.
unfortunately it does for all of us.
Uh, I really like the way the series is going right now personally. So I wouldn't mind. I wish they wouldn't come out so frequently, but uh,
If they would just give them more development time, like give them 2 or 3 years to cook instead of like having it be annualized. Sure, and I know they're not the same studios working on them, but like it feels like half of Ubisoft is on Assassin's Creed and the other half is on Tom Clancy games at this point.
Far Cry game, the next Far Cry
I just
game.
kind of like lump that in with those.
Yeah, I
Just
feel like
some random team gets drawn out of a hat. You're making Far Cry this year.
yeah. So neat.
It looked fine. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. Stalker 2 looks great.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I'm
people really,
excited. I think I'm more excited because of the journey that this studio has gone on,
yeah,
and that's I will 100%. I was already going to play the game. I will 100% be supporting them. After everything that them and the developers have replaced, which while not here was playable at Playdays and got a Xbox Wire post a
yeah,
couple days ago.
yeah. I'm glad that they're getting.
Both are on track for this year.
I'm glad this game's coming out. I'm glad that they are not,
Safe.
yeah, in a war zone right now anymore. Like
Yeah,
this
they are
studio
now in
needs,
the Czech Republic.
yeah. So
So
that was exciting. And then Josh, Sarabon came out, and the conference ended on Gears of War. They brought back the of War, which I know a lot of people are excited about.
yep.
E-Day, which is a prequel to the first game, 14 years before the events of Gears of War 1. You very clearly see Marcus is at his father's house looking for. This is clearly the event where um, he's looking for his father, and he has to make the tough choice, which is why he's in prison in the first game, right? So this is clearly what this game is going to lead up to, in my opinion. I was a little disappointed it wasn't Gear 6, to be honest. I really just want to wrap Gears at this point and move
Yeah.
as much as I love Gears, like I want to move the story forward and let the coalition work on something else outside of Gears, and that's clearly not happening now because they're making a prequel and Gear 6 still has to happen at some point. Um I don't know, man. This is the fourth time we've revisited something before the events of the first game. I'm not
I'm
into it.
still so okay with this.
I I'm
I love it.
I'm
I
tired.
love it.
I mean, that's I'm clearly in the minority of this, but this kind of,
I was not the biggest fan of the gameplay in Gears 5.
oh my
I
gosh, Gears
really
5 is the best one.
I love Gears 4
Gears
so much. 5 I was not a fan of.
oh, we're the opposite.
5 is fine. 5 is fine. It's perfectly fine.
2 and 5 are
I
my
I
favorites.
don't think that 4 or 5 was necessary if you really want me to get wild. I think it should have ended with 3, but
Well, yeah, of course
money.
it should have ended with 3, but like if you're going to make
Money.
a sequel, at least make, if you're going to keep going, make them good, right?
I mean, they
So,
did. They made 4 and then they made 5.
yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to do it, make them good, and they were good at least. So, I mean, but I thought this was a flashback, and it was going to lead into Old Man Marcus with Kate doing some cool mission, and it didn't. It showed up with Dom, and I don't know, man. I've seen this scene in 3 separate games now, and I'm tired of it. I'm done. I will play it because I love Gears, and I guess I'm sure it'll look great and it'll play great, but like I'm really tired of the before stuff.
This was the quickest way to get me involved. I'm not gonna lie. This has me. If this is a more streamlined Gears than 5 was, I'm infinitely more excited. The open world bullshit of 5 got on my nerves very
Oh
quickly.
well, this game takes place entirely in Jacinto, so get ready for open world shit, Josh.
I mean, it's one area though, like it's Jacinto, so I'm not like, oh, I gotta take the fucking sled around, you know.
Yeah,
I'm much more okay with this.
yeah.
It could be worse, so
I mean, yeah.
I still think this is cool. It was totally out of left field. Nobody expected this. Part of me still wonders if this is the game that the smaller team is making and that Gear 6 is still in production. Um, but I will note the coalition did come out and say that, hey, just because we're putting this out doesn't mean that we're not doing Gears, that we're not going to finish the story in 4 and 5. Like
Yeah.
we saw an opportunity to do this, we wanted to do it, and we did it. And I think I'd rather have the studio make something that they want to make rather than something that they're expected to make.
Yeah. I
So
I mean, I agree with that statement 100%. As a fan of Gears and as somebody who really likes where Gears 5 and 4 and 5 are going, I was expecting to see that story get wrapped up because it's been so long, you know. But
I do agree. This should be the second to last mainline Gears game.
yeah, I
The final one needs to be the one that wraps everything up in six.
yeah, I think with 6, right, like you gotta put a bow on it and start something new, in my opinion. I love Gears, but you gotta start something new. Um, so that's just where my opinion was at this point. I don't know. I don't know if I have very much else to say about Gears E Day. I think the tech was impressive in this trailer because it was running in engine, right? Supposedly. I think the Marcus character model and the Dom character model look how you want to remember how Dom and Marcus looked in the first game, or like younger versions of them, right? Um, but at the same time, I am kind of disappointed that it's a prequel. So
I want to read this piece from the interview Xbox Wire did. E-Day is a story of many origins, including the Chainsaw Lancer, but they're opting to keep the specifics of the stories being told to themselves. Suffice it to say, we're not learning just how Marcus and Dom came to be the heroes we know in E-Day. The Chainsaw Lancer doesn't currently exist in that period, but it's not a Gears game if you're not chainsawing the locusts. I think that is pretty important. Um, that okay I in like you look at the lancer and it has a bayonet on it instead of a chainsaw. I actually really like the idea of like, oh, they're probably gonna like just hacksaw this shit together.
yeah,
I think that's kind of cool. Like
what,
I'm
this
very
gun?
excited for this
Are you talking about this?
personally.
Are you talking about this gun specifically?
I'm talking about the gun specifically.
Oh, it was introduced in Gears 3.
The bayonet.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine. I'm saying that that's the standard gun that you're starting out with is the one with the bayonet,
yeah,
and you're gonna eventually get the chainsaw for it.
yeah. I bet that's something that pops
So
up.
I like the idea of them like just hacksawing that together while they're exploring.
Yeah, my theory based on when the game takes place and when the chainsaw the normal Lancer that everybody knows and loves today, right? You're gonna get it sometime in Act 5, and it's gonna be way more powerful than it is in the other games.
I mean,
Uh,
you're going to take down whoever the boss of like the game is with it, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, which is I forget who it is, but it's General Rom's commander is the villain. Because they were part of the prequel DLC for 3. So uh,
I want to read the end of this. There's a section called The Future of Gears. This isn't the end of the other ongoing stories in the Gears series. The team is content with the stories told in 4 and 5 and is by no means abandoning them, but the collective passion for such an iconic origin story was too great to ignore. The story of E-Day and the origins of Marcus and Dom are powerful pivotal events the Coalition couldn't wait to tell. We're not retreating from the storyline in Gears 4 and 5 in any way, but in this moment, we had an opportunity to write our next step, and this one felt too good to miss. It's also important to note they do not consider E Day a spin off. It's a completely new entry to the mainline series set earlier in the timeline. The events of the game not only serve as the origin tale of the two beloved characters, but also adds detail and context to the period that will resonate throughout stories told that will follow. They're not the locusts are not yet the foe that our characters are accustomed to fighting. They're mysterious, formidable, overwhelming, and an unforeseen horror that Marcus and the rest of Sarah must learn to deal with before it's too late. Everything that happens in E-Day shapes the future of the Gears 4 franchise for the better.
mhm. I actually I to throw this out there, I actually have a theory on why this is a prequel. Uh,
We're gonna see who fucks somebody to make Kate's mom.
no, no. My theory is that Rod Ferguson maybe wants to tie up that story, and maybe when that acquisition started and the coalition wasn't kind of I mean, obviously they were working on some sort of gears thing, but like maybe they didn't know which gears they were going to lean towards, and maybe Rod wants to wrap it up because he headed 4 and 5, and he already said in multiple interviews that he has a story for Gear 6 in his mind, but he doesn't work at that studio. But now he kind of works for Xbox anyway, so maybe, you know,
I mean, maybe you never know.
yeah, that's my theory, at least, that Rod maybe wants to do 6 at some point once Diablo is maybe wrapped up, uh, or whatever they're doing over there. So I don't know. We'll see. But as a Gears fan, I'm still going to play it, though. I'm going to be honest with you, because Gears is fun. Uh, but Josh, that was all the games. Lots and lots and lots of games.
Yeah, I thought this was great.
Yeah, I'm glad that they are finally getting these games out. They have release dates. They have gameplay. Like, I mean, it's about time. But also, I'm very excited to play a lot of these. So, what are your top 3 games that you saw here, Josh?
Perfect Dark, South of Midnight, and oof. Picking a third one is rough because I've got like 5 games that could qualify there, I think. Probably Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
I would also accept Avowed as an answer there.
I would also accept Avowed. For me, it's Indiana Jones, it's Fable, and South of Midnight. With, I guess, Gears being in the conversation, but
I don't have nothing that didn't show gameplay was considered for me.
yeah,
It had to show gameplay.
yeah,
So Gears automatically doesn't make my list on that account alone.
yeah. But I mean, I agree. I just
I will say
I
though
know what
that
Gears is at this
I was
point.
talking to somebody who is friends with some of the animators at Coalition, and they said that the trailer, while it was made by Blur, uses all in-game assets from the Coalition.
Yeah,
So I thought that was very cool.
yeah. So I don't any final thoughts on the showcase, Josh?
No, I mean I think this is absolutely. I think we both have conflicting views on this, but I think this is pretty far and away the best show that Xbox has done. I've said it the last couple of years, but I really think they've been kind of crescendoing to this moment.
Yeah,
And this show felt like the E3 showcases of old. This felt like E3 pre like 2019.
mm,
And I think that they were due for a show like this. Obviously, there's been so much stuff in production and development hell for so long. And finally, they come through with a show that not only shows gameplay extensively, but has release dates or at least release windows attached to just about everything.
yeah,
So yeah, we didn't get it for State of Decay or for Perfect Dark, but I think we're all willing to like kind of overlook that a little bit if it just means that it is at least being worked on. And Perfect Dark was kind of like the Clockwork Revolution this year, right? Like there's a lot of gameplay, but they swear it's nowhere close to being done.
yeah.
Um
Which bodes
so
well for that, I guess, right?
it bodes very well. If the game's looking that good, I have high hopes for it. Yeah, I think this was a killer show that they needed. It was a little bit shorter than I thought it was going to be,
Yeah,
but hey, sometimes shorter is better. If you don't have that much to show, don't show stuff just for the sake of showing it. I'd rather it be a shorter show than you cram a bunch of CG announcements in
yeah. I mean, I would rather see. I would
or a bunch
rather
of like filler content like we talked about with the Sony showcase last year or even their show this year. Their show this year was bad.
Sony's. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, the one they just did in May was bad.
It was,
So,
it was not amazing.
it's not great. So,
Is there anything that wasn't here that you're shocked wasn't here?
Towerborn.
Uh,
Towerborn's the one I keep coming back to. Um, Beyond that, I guess I don't really. I'm a little surprised Replaced wasn't here. That game hasn't been seen in 3 years, but it was playable for the first time this week to press.
yeah,
And I mean, it was branded with Xbox and everything at Playday, so I'm really surprised it wasn't here.
yeah. Well, I mean, maybe they're saving it for Gamescom.
I mean, it's supposed to be a day one Game Pass release also, so I would expect. I think previews on it are coming out this next week because it was
Mm,
at Playdays.
yeah,
Um, I look forward to it, but I mean, no. Other than that, I think like just about everything I expected was here. I had a list of games that I thought were going to be there, and they pretty much nailed them. aside from those two, I can't really think of anything else that I was like, oh yeah, that needed to be there and it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little surprised Double Fine didn't show up.
Yeah.
Considering they do Day of the Devs and everything, I was a little surprised they weren't there, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, I just at some point they got to show up. It's been 3 years. I think they've probably got until like Christmas to show something before people start getting a little agitated, especially with Tim's comments of, yeah, our next game's going to be a lot smaller in scope and won't take nearly as long to come out. Yeah, that was a fucking lie.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's been a
Hot minute.
a little bit longer. No Contraband either.
I've given up hope on seeing Contraband.
I mean, I'm not like clamoring.
Somebody reported on it this week and said that hey, it's shaping up good inside the studio, but they've delayed it and reworked it like 3 different times. The time to get that game out was probably this year, because guess what? Next year you're releasing a game that's a vehicle heist game. You're putting that out in the same year as GTA 6. Good luck.
Yeah.
And then Avalanche did layoffs this week also. So,
yeah. So
good luck guys.
Good luck. Well, that's it. Xbox Game Showcase in the books, Josh. Another one in the books. Is there anything else in the news happened this week that we need to hit on before we get out of here? I mean, there wasn't very much that I was excited for from Summer Game Fest, really. So
no, I thought outside of Monster Hunter Wilds and the Alan Wake DLC, I think Summer Game Fest was actually a complete dud.
Yeah, I don't even remember anything that was announced besides Alan Wake 2 and that weird Lego Horizon game that's coming to Switch, apparently.
That was very weird.
It's like, that's what? So, so Summer Game Fest, not Summer Game Bust. Anyways, let's go ahead and get out of here, Josh. I want to thank everybody out there for watching and or listening to this episode of Xbox Casuals. Tell us what you're excited for. We want to hear. We want to know what you're excited for. Josh, thank you for your time tonight, as always. I appreciate you. Where can we find you?
Twitter, @Josh_Fit in 2 N's.
Besides screaming at the TV and the Mavericks.
Oh.
Feeling okay, Josh?
No.
Oh, man. I'm pulling for the Mavericks, man. I got to tell you.
Well, we're going to lose. So the only question is if we lose 4-0 or 4-1 at this point. Kyrie's out here shooting tour dates.
Tour dates, Jesus.
So.
Oh, man. That's, well, you can find me at I am Corey HD on the social media. You can find us at Tower Casuals.
Corey, the man is 5 of 13. He's shooting tour dates.
Well, it's fair. I hear you. I hear you. Check out Tower Casuals every Friday, our sister podcast. This is every Tuesday, although it's a day early for all you guys. So enjoy that. Thank you everybody for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.